Okay, the Povedano manuscript of 1578. So first, who is Povedano? Thomas Povedano de Arcos, Lucena, Spain, September 22, 1847, San Jose, Costa Rica, February 29, 1943, was a Spanish painter who spent much of his life in Costa Rica. He studied painting in Malaga in Seville, a city where he worked as an illustrator while he was a student at the Academy of Fine Arts and taught private drawing lessons. His artistic career began by decorating fans, which will be revealed later in a series of flowering paintings and allegorical themes. Then here is the summary of the Povedano manuscript of 1878. Almost 40 years after his contribution in Philippine historiography, Jose Marco was instrumental in locating another Povedano manuscript for young historians today. Miss Rebecca Pignacio, she is working for her master's degree in Far Eastern University, who was the daughter of old Bacolod City friend Miss Ignacio, translated and annotated the document in December of 1951 in partial fulfillment of the requirements for the master's degree, and then gave permission for the Philippine Studies program in Chicago to publish it as transcript number 3, the Povedano manuscript of 1578. Mr. Marco generosity that I was able to trace the Povedano manuscript to its present owner, Operiano Rodriguez of Cebu City. The good father was not in mood of showing the document at first after some appeal and persuasion. Father Rodriguez, who opened an old trunk and lifted out some precious documents piece by piece, manuscript covered with scraps of paper which had yellowed with the years. Marco himself, however, flatly contradicts this attractive story. In a letter to Mauro Garcia, dated December 9, 1951, according to his statement, it was he who borrowed the manuscript from the father Rodriguez and made an English translation, which he gave Miss Ignacio. But in a letter to Edie, 3rd of June 7, 1954, he says the copy provided Ignacio had been made by a convent clerk, that her father would not pay for the price the old priest asked for the original. The original manuscript had been given by its author to Fray Ramon Andres, whence it passed into the Pavon family in Spain. Father Jose Maria Pavon, who in turn to give Father Rodriguez, who had been Marco's childhood confessor and whom he met again for the first time after the war in October 1952, and who had deposited in the Museo Biblioteca Ultramar. It is hardly wonder, therefore, that Hister in 1960 inscribed the side pages of the remaining copies of transcript number 3 with the notation the original of the Povedano of 1578 is in serious question. The original manuscript, entitled Las Antiguas Leyendas by Cuentos Tilos, Indios Char and Jarayas Chiginchas Ignenis de esta isla de Bogtas is written on 123 leaves of 21x23 cm paper in a pleasing electric hand which combines features Gothic and Roman type and Italian Renaissance calligraphy. Like the Pavon 1838 to 1839 Leyendas and Cuentos de las Antiguas Leyendas y Cuentos Tilos Indios, Charayas is inappropriately titled. 2/3 of its space is devoted to streets, ethnographic matter like such food stuff, medicine dwellings, religious beliefs, funeral rites, mourning customs, law enforcement, and farming, fishing, and hunting. So, tinulungan ni Marco si Rebecca P. Ignacio upang mahanap niya kung sino ang nakatago sa Povedano manuscript of 1578. Dahil si Rebecca ay isang historian na nagma-master degree. At she gave permission for the Philippine Studies program in Chicago to publish it as transcript number 3, the Povedano manuscript of 1578. In February 1954, she even added na Hindi enough yung pagka-explain sa Povedano 1578 manuscript. When she gives information of how she obtained her copy from Father Rodriguez, the father was not in the mood and unwillingness to show the manuscript to her, and even single word Father did not utter. Dinay ni Marco ang sinabi ni Miss Ignacio kung paano niya nakuha yung manuscript. At sinabi niya sa letter niya kay Mauro Garcia na siya daw ang nagbigay kay Miss Ignacio ng manuscript na yun, where in fact he just gave an information kung saan mahanap yung manuscript. At sabi naman niya sa letter niya kay AD Hister Marco, he says the copy provided Miss Ignacio had been made by convent clerk that her father would not pay the price. The old priest asked, nagsinungaling si Marco kay Mauro Garcia and Hidi Hister. In short, sinungaling talaga si Jose Marco. Then, let's proceed to the Povedano manuscript of 1577 and 1579. 1577 Lexico de los primitive idioma Jigisena Jayak or Jaraya Conversion on el idioma de las Castillas. 1579 Miss Ornada e Peregrinacio en las Islas de Filipinas escrito por el mismo Disteso Salida en el Reino de las Castillas so ilegada en el Cetrio e Ciudad de Maynilad. Yan yung mga pangalan ng manuscript ni Povedano sa 1577 and 1579. Then, ito naman yung manuscript na ginawa niya in 1579. Marco's contribution to Philippine Historiography. The provenance of Dato Kalancha was not established. The 1572 map of Povedano does not look like the 16th century Spanish documents. Some of Marco's work were fraudulent. So, doon sa Povedano manuscript of 1577 and 1579, the former is measured as 299 leaves of 21 x 32 cm, and the latter is measured 83 leaves 28 x to 41 cm. The contribution of Marcos to Philippine historiography is absurd to Scott. He stated some points in regards to its absurdity in the validity and reality of the pre-Hispanic manuscript. So, ito ngayon, itong tatlo. Diego Loop, Povedano, and Jose Maria Pivo, and their contributions to the manuscripts were not validated as well. The Kalanchaw Code of 16 Laws was promulgated in 1433, which is no reference to Panay, were written by the date of the same name and built a fort in Gagalangin, Negros, which was destroyed by an earthquake in 1435, but the Bivon text turned over to Dr. Robertson in 1914 calls the owner of the calendar was an 81-year-old man by the name of Kalanchaw and gave Pangbiluan as his birthplace, which was identified as a mountain in Cebu, and no written account of the fortress being built and destroyed. It was initially mentioned the Kalanchaw has 16 laws as 18, but Marco